So this is a sign that I had made to protest the bacon jam. And the last few times that I protested this bacon jam, I was the only one there. I was the only one there to protest it. And I'm not even from this county where they hold this bacon fest or bacon jam every year. There's probably, at least 10,000 vegans in this county where they hold this bacon jam each year. But I was the only one there protesting. And I guarantee if instead of selling pig flesh at this festival, they were selling dog flesh at this festival, every vegan in that county would be there protesting. And even hundreds, if not thousands, of non-vegans would be there protesting this festival if it was dog flesh that was being sold instead of pig flesh. I was the only one there protesting this festival. Everybody else that showed up were there to attend it and to purchase the products being sold. It's really disturbing how the world is towards animals. And most people would probably say that they are against animal abuse. They would most likely say that they are against animal abuse. But every day, their actions prove otherwise. Their actions prove otherwise. When you show up at a fucking bacon jam to attend it and not to protest it, that proves you are pro-animal abuse. Everyone walking into this event, they prove they are for animal abuse. Because, if it was dog flesh that they were selling at this festival, you probably wouldn't see one fucking person attend it. Because on one hand, they understand that animal abuse is wrong. When it's a fucking dog being killed, they understand that would be animal abuse. But when it's a pig, suddenly they lose all sense of reality. And they will actually attend this festival. They will actually go into a grocery store and buy the flesh of these animals. But if the grocery stores were filled with dog flesh, you wouldn't be seeing people picking up those items and putting it in their cart if those items were made from dog flesh. But if they're made from pig flesh, if they're made from cow flesh, if they're made from chicken flesh or fish flesh, yeah, they're all good with it. Suddenly animal abuse is acceptable. And they don't even see it as animal abuse. Yeah, well, that's disturbing. Because what you're saying is it's okay to abuse animals. But it's not. It's not okay to abuse any animal. To understand that, to kill a dog is wrong, but to kill a pig is okay, I gotta wonder what other forms of discrimination you support. I gotta wonder what other forms of discrimination you engage in. When you're like, oh, I totally understand it's wrong to kill a dog, but no, killing pigs, perfectly fine. And in fact, I'll support that. You're a hypocrite. You're delusional. You're an animal abuser. I mean, I went vegan because I don't want to be an animal abuser. And I realized that every time I was consuming a non-vegan product, I was literally paying people to abuse and kill animals in my name. I did not go vegan because I didn't like eating bacon. I did not go vegan because I didn't like eating filet mignon. I didn't go vegan because I didn't like eating cheese. I went vegan because I could clearly see, once I saw how these animal products were produced that it involves animal abuse, extreme animal abuse. And yeah, if you pay the hitman, you are the murderer. So it doesn't matter whether I was the one actually stabbing these animals in their throats in these slaughterhouses. I was paying people to stab these animals in their throats. And that's, why I had to go vegan. Once I came to the realization what was really happening to these animals, because I, like most people, back before I started seeing slaughterhouse footage, I just mindlessly consumed animal products, never thinking twice about how those products were being produced, never thinking about the victim, looking at that hunk of flesh on my plate as if it was a steak, as if it was a piece of bacon. It's just food. That's not steak on your plate. That is the remains of a victim. That's not bacon on your plate. It's the remains of a victim that was brutalized, mutilated, forced, screaming into a slaughterhouse. And yeah, typically when in the past, when I would go protest these bacon jams and the bacon fest, I would just stand there with these signs, just stand quietly with my sign near the entrance so people coming to this festival could see the sign and start to think about the victims. But I think this time when I protest this bacon jam, I'm thinking I should get a megaphone and do what I do here on TikTok. Just start speaking up for these animals and letting these people hear. Maybe, get sounds of pigs in slaughterhouses and let them hear the pigs screaming to really get them to think about what they're doing and how evil this event is. Because, yeah, you would understand if, they were selling dog flesh, that would be evil. But, oh, no, it's just pig flesh. No, I'm good with that. I'll even go attend this thing and get some bacon because bacon's so yummy. Yeah, even though it causes cancer. But yeah, people are hypocrites. Don't be a hypocrite. Be vegan. Don't be, delicious. Yeah. If it wasn't for all the herbs and spices your slaughtered gore is seasoned with, it would not be so delicious. If like bacon didn't have that added salt, you wouldn't want to eat it. Believe me. My food is just as delicious because my food is seasoned the same way. Salt, pepper, herbs, spices. So yeah, I protest this bacon jam every year, and every time, I am the only one there protesting. The only one. And I'm not even from this county where they hold this bacon jam each year. And I'm sure in this county, there's probably at least 5,000 or 10,000 vegans. But not one of them show up to protest this bacon jam. I'm sure if they were literally selling dog flesh at this festival, every vegan in that county would be there to protest. So even a lot of vegans are really still discriminating against animals. Because I guarantee, like I said, if they were selling dog flesh at this festival, every vegan in that county would be there to protest it. But, oh, they're pigs. Oh, everybody around me eats pig meat. It's no big deal. I mean, I know it's wrong, so I don't do it. But, fuck if everybody else does, No, I don't want anybody. This is fucking wrong. I don't want anybody engaging in this behavior because it's wrong. Just as wrong as if they were to sell fucking dog flesh at this festival. It's just as wrong to sell pig flesh. And not only would every vegan in this county where this festival is held each year be there to protest it if it was dog flesh being sold, I guarantee there would be hundreds, if not thousands, of non-vegans there to protest this festival if they were selling dog flesh or cat flesh. But because it's pig flesh, like there's nobody there protesting except me. Everybody that shows up is there to attend this festival, to purchase the flesh of these victims. And these pigs are victims. They're not food. They're victims. It's not just one bad day. I mean, that's bad enough. Forcing an innocent sentient creature into a fucking slaughterhouse is bad enough. But that's not the only thing that happens to these animals that is wrong, that is unjust. Their whole brief existence on this planet is pure fucking hell. When these piglets are born, they have their tails cut off. They have their teeth clipped. They have their ears clipped. The males are all castrated. All of this without any anesthesia, without any pain relievers. And then they are forced to live in overcrowded, shit-filled dungeons for 6 months in such filth. They have to be given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick. Then they are crammed onto a transport truck in the freezing cold of winter or in the stifling heat of summer to travel for hours with no food, no water. They're shitting, they're pissing on each other, they're terrified. When they arrive at that slaughterhouse, they do not go in willingly. They are forced forward to the kill floor. Right off those transport trucks, they are forced through a narrow chute. Through a narrow chute where they can barely turn around. If they manage to turn around, there is a worker there with an electric prod to force them back around and straight to the kill floor. You don't even have to go into a slaughterhouse to realize the horror taking place. Just stand outside and listen to these animals screaming for their lives. All of this torment, just so you can sit down for 10 freaking minutes and stuff your face with their flesh. And all you're doing in the process is destroying this planet, because animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. And you're eating these products that literally increase your risk of getting cancer. Bacon is just as carcinogenic as cigarette smoking. It's insanity. Complete insanity. And people, all you want to do is fight against veganism. So when you're here making your anti-vegan comments, what you're doing is you are defending animal abuse. You are defending a multi-billion-dollar industry based on brutalizing innocent creatures by the billions. Destroying the planet in the process just to sell you foods that make you sick. With cancer, with diabetes, with heart disease, with kidney disease. It's not vegans dropping dead by the thousands each day prematurely from heart attacks and strokes and colon cancer and breast cancer. It's not vegans. Go to your local hospital. See who's filling up those hospital beds. Not vegans. It's not vegans. I'm almost 50 years old. I am not on any medication whatsoever. I don't even have to take pain relievers anymore since going vegan. I used to have to take pain relievers for my endometriosis. I used to be in pain 12 days out of every single month for years from endometriosis. But within 3 months of eliminating animal products from my diet, the pain completely went away. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so, because animal products, in case you don't know, are the most inflammatory foods you can consume. So yeah, it's interesting that when I eliminated those very inflammatory foods from my diet, the inflammation, the pain went away. And a lot of people experience health benefits when they go vegan. Watch The Game Changers. Watch Eating You Alive, or What the Health, or The Last Heart Attack with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. A whole foods plant-based diet by far is the best diet for human health. It can significantly reduce your risk of getting cancer, heart disease, kidney disease. Even if you have these health conditions right now, a plant-based diet can help treat them. From the American Institute for Cancer Research, a plant-based diet not only helps reduce your risk of getting many forms of cancer. If you have cancer, a plant-based diet can help treat it, can help fight it. It can help fight cancer. From the National Kidney Foundation, not only does a plant-based diet help prevent kidney disease, if you have kidney disease, a plant-based diet can help slow the progression. From the American Heart Association, the more meat you eat, the more risk you have of heart disease, stroke, obesity, many forms of cancer, type 2 diabetes. You know, here you are fighting against veganism, literally standing up for animal abuse. That's what you're doing here with your anti-vegan comments. You're literally standing up for animal abuse and for giving yourself heart disease and cancer and diabetes and destroying the planet. You make no sense whatsoever. You make no sense. You need to just sit down and shut up. Seriously. Because you make no sense. You're not here doing any favors to anyone except this multi-billion-dollar industry that's based on brutalizing animals and destroying this planet and making you ill. I hope they're paying you. I hope this vile, disgusting industry is like paying you all to harass vegans. You know, I hope you're not doing this for free. You know, defending this multi-billion-dollar industry. You know, because all you're getting out of this is heart disease and cancer and diabetes. That's all you're getting out of defending and supporting these animal abusers. And again, if you pay the hitman, you are the murderer. If you pay people to abuse and kill animals, you are an animal abuser. You might as well be working in these factory farms. You might as well be working in these slaughterhouses yourself, cutting the tails of these pigs off, clipping their teeth, castrating them. You might as well be the one working in those slaughterhouses, stabbing these animals in their throats. Because you're literally paying people to do these things to these animals. So you might as well be doing it yourself. It's no different. It's like you hiring a hitman. Like if you hired a hitman to kill somebody for you and you got caught, you would in fact be charged with murder. Even though you did not kill the person with your own hands. The fact that you handed money over to someone to kill that person for you makes you a murderer. And just the same, when you hand your money over to this disgusting industry to kill animals, to torture animals, to mutilate animals, to hold these animals captive inside of these overcrowded, shit-filled dungeons and such filth, they have to be given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick, you are just as guilty of these acts of animal abuse, of these acts of killing. You literally pay people to stab animals in their throats for every single non-vegan product you consume, which is probably like every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner. Even for your dessert, if your dessert contains eggs or milk, you're still having an animal stabbed in their throat or their throat slashed. Yeah, because they either stab those animals in their throats to sever their jugular vein, to bleed them out before they butcher them, or they slash their throat to sever their jugular vein, to bleed them out before they butcher them. So yes, even for dairy products, because those dairy cows, unlike what most people believe, those dairy cows do not automatically produce milk. Those dairy cows do not produce milk because they're dairy cows. They produce milk because they are mothers. They are forcibly impregnated. As soon as they give birth, their babies are stolen. If those babies are boys, they are slaughtered. On some dairy farms, they will slaughter the male calves right away, but typically they are sold off to the veal industry and slaughtered within a few weeks. And they have their throats either slashed to sever their jugular vein, to hang them up and bleed them out and butcher them for veal, or they are stabbed in their throat to sever their jugular vein, to bleed them out, to hang them up, to butcher them for veal. So yeah, for even dairy products, you're having an animal stabbed in their throat. And those dairy cows are stabbed in their throats. When they can no longer produce enough milk to be profitable, they are sent to the slaughterhouse. Even for eggs, those egg-laying hens have their throats slashed to bleed them out before they are butchered. When those egg-laying hens can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable, they are slaughtered. And at those hatcheries where all egg-laying hens come from, they cannot determine the sex of the chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the male chicks and they put them through a macerator, which grinds them up alive, because they're useless to the egg industry, because they're males. They're never going to be able to lay eggs. And that breed of bird is not the same breed used for meat. They do not grow quick enough or big enough to be profitable for meat. So they're put through a macerator and ground up alive as soon as they hatch. So for whatever animal products you're consuming, you are literally paying people to abuse animals in some of the most heinous ways. And then you think I'm crazy because I'm a vegan and I refrain from paying people to grind up baby animals alive. You think I'm crazy because I'm a vegan, because I don't pay people to grind up baby animals alive, because I don't pay people to stab animals in their throats when I get hungry. I'm the crazy one. Really? 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 Well, this image behind me, for those of you just tuning in, this image behind me is a sign that I had made to protest the bacon jam. And every time I've been to this bacon jam to protest, I was the only one there protesting this bacon jam. Everybody else came to attend it, to hand their money over to say, hey, keep on stabbing these pigs in their throats because I love eating their flesh. Here's some more money. Kill some more pigs. I was the only one there. And I'm sure I'll probably be the only one this year protesting this bacon jam. And I'm not even from this county where this bacon jam takes place. And I'm sure in this county where this bacon jam takes place, there's probably at least 5, maybe even 10, maybe even 15,000 vegans living in this county where this bacon jam is taking place. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of vegans that might not know about this bacon jam. You know, there's other vegans that, you know, have other things to do. They do other forms of activism. But it's just strange that I'm the only one protesting this bacon jam, and I'm not even from this county. But I guarantee if they were selling dog flesh at this festival, every fucking vegan in that county would be there to protest. Every vegan in that county would be there to protest. So that just goes to prove how fucked these animals have it. That even vegans remain silent as they're being brutalized and massacred by the billions. Even vegans remain silent. Most vegans aren't even activists. Most vegans don't even fucking open their mouth and tell people what's happening to these animals. They keep it to themselves as if they have no right, that they have no right to force their views on other people. No, you have a duty. When you know something wrong is taking place, when you know there's an injustice taking place, you have the duty to speak out against that injustice and to inform others. You're not forcing. I can't force anyone to go vegan, but I can inform others of what is happening to these victims, and you should be too. When you know what's happening to these animals, and you know there's no good reason for this to be taking place, that in fact, the more meat, dairy, and egg products people consume, the more risk they have of heart disease, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease, causing another pandemic, destroying the planet in the process. Because this vile, disgusting industry is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, and world hunger, and climate change. You have the duty to speak up, to inform others, not to force others, but to inform others so that they can make educated choices. But no, you'll just stay silent. You'll just stay silent as a massacre that is so heinous. It's literally destroying our planet and making all the people around you sick. Thousands of people dropping dead prematurely every single day from heart attacks and strokes and kidney disease and cancer, and you keep your mouth shut. You keep your mouth shut. 1 billion people starving right now. 1 billion people starving right now, as tens of billions of animals are being fattened up for their flesh and secretions. 1 billion people starving because food they could be eating is being fed to livestock. So privileged people can eat meat and dairy products, and you still remain silent. With you keeping your mouth shut about this atrocity that is like atrocious on so many levels, you are siding with the devil. You are siding with the victimizer. You are siding with the enemy, with the animal abusers. You need to start speaking up. You need to start speaking up now. These animals cannot fucking wait. They're literally being forced by the thousands into slaughterhouses every single second. Every single second, thousands of animals are slaughtered, given a death sentence over a food preference, just because people refuse to go vegan. But I think most people refuse to go vegan just because they don't know any better. They don't know any better. They actually think they have to eat animals to be healthy, when nothing could be further from the truth. A lot more people would be going vegan if a lot more people knew the truth, and a lot more people knew the extent of the devastation that this vile industry is causing. It's not just devastating for these victims that have to endure living on these overcrowded, shit-filled factory farms. It's not just these victims being forced by the billions into slaughterhouses every week. The planet's being destroyed in the process. Thousands of people are dropping dead prematurely from diseases caused by eating these victims. 1 billion people starving in third world countries because food they could be eating is being used to fatten up these animals. So privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. This makes absolutely no sense. You need to start speaking up. There needs to be more vegans in the world, a lot more vegans. Everybody should be vegan. It literally makes no sense to not be vegan. When you know the truth, you will know that this literally is the most brutal and most destructive industry ever, and that nobody in their right mind should be funding this industry. But you're funding it every day with every single non-vegan product you consume. You're literally keeping animal abusers in business and destroying the planet in the process just to consume foods that literally increase your risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, causing another pandemic like swine flu, bird flu. And yeah, you might not care, but you can only speak for yourself. You cannot speak for everybody else. Most people are against animal abuse, but most people don't realize that for every single non-vegan product they consume, they are funding the most atrocious acts of animal abuse taking place. For every single non-vegan product you consume, you are literally paying someone to stab an animal in their throat. So that's probably like every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner, even for your dessert. If your dessert contains eggs or milk, You're literally having animals brutalized, because in the egg industry at the hatcheries where all egg-laying hens come from, even the organic free-range egg-laying hens, they cannot determine the sex of those chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they put them through a macerator, which grinds them up alive. And they kill off those egg-laying hens when they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. That happens at a fraction of their natural lifespan, because those egg-laying hens are forced to produce 10 times more eggs than is natural. Just like the dairy cows are forced to produce 10 times more milk than is natural. So that puts an enormous amount of stress on the bodies of those hens, on the bodies of those dairy cows. So by the time they're just, in the case of dairy cows, 5 years of age, when they can live over 20 years, they can no longer keep up with that type of milk production. So they're sent to slaughter and stabbed in their throats and hacked to pieces. By the time those egg-laying hens are about 1.5 years of age, when they can live over 7 years, their bodies can't keep up with that kind of egg production. So they are sent to slaughter, have their throats slashed. So for every single non-vegan product, you are literally having an animal's throat cut. Now you understand that what Bryan Kohberger did to those 4 college students was a heinous, evil act of violence, stabbing those 4 innocent college students to death. You understand that that was wrong. But for some reason, you pay people to stab animals in their throats every few hours of every fucking day. Every time you give your money to buy an animal product, like pork, bacon, even eggs, even cheese, you're literally paying someone to kill an animal, to stab an animal in their throat, or to slash their throat, to sever their jugular vein, to bleed them out before they butcher them, to package up their body parts. You literally purchase body parts. Body parts. That's what that meat is. Body parts. And not only do you purchase body parts, you literally put those body parts in your mouth. I bury dead animals. I don't put them in my mouth. And you're not a meat eater, okay? Do you know of anyone, any human, is there any human that you know that actually gets the urge to kill an animal when they get hungry? Is there any human that you know that goes and picks up dead animals off the side of the road and takes those animals home to cook them up and eat them? You are not a meat eater. You're not a true meat eater. Just because you can eat meat doesn't mean you're an omnivore. You're not. You don't have any instincts of a true omnivore. Like, no sane person ever gets the urge to kill an animal when they get hungry. If it was in your nature to eat animals, you would actually have the urge to kill those animals like any other true meat-eating animal does. Or at least to eat roadkill. Because, like humans are more like vultures. In the fact that they like to eat decaying animal flesh from animals that are already dead. But you don't even find roadkill appetizing. Most people, when they see a dead animal on the side of the road, they're either like, "Aw, that's sad," or "Ooh, gross." They're not like, "Yum, dinner time." I mean, people have been duped so bad. And I know, because I used to be one of those people who was so fucking duped into thinking that it was necessary to eat animals to be healthy. That it was natural and necessary. That when I first went vegan, this is how brainwashed I used to be. That I actually thought that I might not be able to stick with it, because I thought that I might not be able to maintain my health. And when I first went vegan, I'm like, if I can't maintain my health, I might have to go back to eating some animal products again, because I'm not going to let my health deteriorate, But my health significantly improved, and I was so fucking brainwashed that when my pain from endometriosis completely went away within like 3 months of going vegan. I didn't even link it to me going vegan, to me eliminating animal flesh and animal secretions from my diet. I didn't even link it because I was so severely brainwashed to think that we had to eat animals and their secretions to be healthy that it didn't even come across my mind that my endometriosis pain went away because I eliminated those very inflammatory foods from my diet. Yeah, it was after going vegan, a while after going vegan, that I actually learned about the health benefits of eating plant-based foods and eliminating animal-based foods, because animal-based foods are very acidic. Like, in fact, they are the most acidic and most inflammatory foods you can eat. And they are loaded with artery clogging fats and cholesterol that clog up your arteries, impeding blood flow to your vital organs, like your heart, which can lead to a heart attack, like your brain, which can lead to a stroke. Thanks for the roses. So yeah, going vegan is not just the best thing you can do for the animals, but it is the best thing you can do for your own health. And it is the best thing you can do to help save this planet. So yeah, there's more reasons than one to go vegan, but veganism is a stand against animal abuse. So everybody should go vegan just for that fact alone. That what's happening to these animals to produce these animal products is extreme animal abuse. It's extreme violence. Stabbing someone in their throat. Yeah, that's extremely cruel. And there's no such thing as humane slaughter, just like there's no such thing as humane rape. There's no such thing as humane robbery. There's no such thing as humane slaughter. Just like there's no right way to rape someone. There's no right way to rob someone. There's no right way to kill someone because you want to eat their flesh. Yeah, treating someone nice before you butcher and eat them, that is not humane. That is psychotic. So there's no way around this. Even a lot of extra money to make sure that the meat you're buying comes from a truly passionate animal. And you're like, well, at least I know that that animal really did get to live in an open pasture. And they got to live a good life. Yeah, well, the better those animals are treated, the more they want to live. And the greater the betrayal it is when you rob them of their life. And those animals, whether they're pasture raised or not, they are all killed as babies. Pigs are just 6 months old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 10 years. Chickens are just 6 weeks old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 7 years. Even cattle raised for beef are between 12 to 22 months of age. They can live over 20 years. These animals are all slaughtered very, very young. But even if you're getting a meat from a pasture-raised animal and you're feeling good about yourself because, oh, I know those animals at least got to live a good life. Again, the better those animals are treated, the more they want to live, but they're all slaughtered very, very young. A pasture-raised pig is going to be slaughtered at around 6 months of age regardless. When they can live over 10 years, they're still going to be slaughtered as babies. And the better they are treated, the more they want to live. But they're still slaughtered and as babies. And treating someone nice before you butcher and eat them, that is not humane. That is psychotic. That is psychotic. Like all of these people, oh, I raise my own chickens. I raise and butcher my own chickens. You're fooling those innocent animals into thinking you're their friend. And then you go and you betray them in the worst way imaginable. You literally fucking hack those animals to pieces. Those animals that literally trusted you. Those animals that literally thought you were their friend. And you take their life over a fucking meal. Because you're too selfish to eat something plant-based that's so much healthier, so much more environmentally sustainable. You rob those animals of your life and you think you were good to them when you literally just butchered them and ate them. That is psychotic. That is so fucking psychotic. That would be just like somebody having a cat or a dog, slaughtering their cat, slaughtering their dog, and eating them, and thinking that they did not do nothing wrong. They didn't do nothing crazy because, they treated them really, really nice before they butchered them and cooked them up and ate them. You're a fucking psycho. I'm sick of this shit. I'm really fucking sick of this shit. This is a massacre going on. If the same things being done to these animals were being done to humans, they would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and mass murder. You are mass murdering innocent creatures. And you think I'm the one who's crazy. You think I'm the one that's off my rocker. You think I'm the one that has no right to be outraged. I have every right to be outraged, and I should even be more outraged. I should be going into the fucking grocery store, screaming at people. What the fuck are you doing? You are literally an animal abuser. You literally pay people to sexually abuse animals and mass kill them. Yeah, they sexually abuse animals, in case you don't know. They call it artificial insemination. But just look up artificial insemination of cows, pigs, chickens, fish, bees. See how they collect the semen for that so-called artificial insemination process to take place. See how they collect the semen. And here it is. This is a screenshot of an instructional video put out by the pork industry on how they collect the semen from those male pigs to forcibly impregnate those sows, the female pigs, to produce those little babies that they kill for your bacon. This is step one. Step one in the process of producing all of those animal products on your store shelf. They masturbate these male animals. This is a human. This is an animal. She has her hand on his penis and she's masturbating him until he ejaculates. This is sexual relations, sexual activity. Sexual relations between a human and an animal is in fact bestiality. So if you're Christian, you should look up what your Bible says about bestiality. It is a sin, a major sin, and you are literally funding bestiality every time you consume a non-vegan product, even for dairy, even for eggs, because yeah, they masturbate roosters, force the roosters to ejaculate so they can collect the semen and force it into those unconsenting hens to fertilize their eggs. So those eggs either hatch into the broiler chickens that people eat, or so those eggs hatch into the egg-laying hens that lay the eggs on store shelves. So this is happening throughout the entire animal agriculture industry. Bestiality. And this is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse. This pig does not give consent for this wacko to literally be touching his penis and making him ejaculate. And it's just crazy that so many people will be like, well, they're animals. They can't give consent. So it's okay to masturbate them. Cuckoo, cuckoo, and they want to call me crazy. Yeah, well, there's some humans that can't consent. Like very young children. People in comas can't consent. So are you saying that it's okay to masturbate someone in a coma because they can't give consent? This is how crazy meat eaters become when a vegan presents facts to them about what is happening to these animals to produce those products they are consuming. This is why I don't consume animal products. I don't want to be an animal abuser. I don't want to be a participant in animal abuse. I don't want to pay someone to rape an animal in my name. I don't want to pay someone to stab an animal in their throat in my name. I am vegan because I'm not an animal abuser. I'm a vegan because I'm against injustice. I'm a vegan because I'm against violence. I'm a vegan because I'm against sentencing innocent beings to death. but you literally sentence innocent animals to death for every single non-vegan product you consume, which is probably all day long, every few hours of every day. You are literally paying someone to kill an animal for your food preferences. This is not acceptable. You can take comfort all you want in the fact that everybody around you is doing the same thing. Well, everybody's buying animal products, so I'm not going to feel bad because everybody else is doing it. I mean, is there any other crime you would be participating in because everybody around you's committing that same crime? Just because everybody around you is robbing their neighbors, are you going to rob your neighbor because, well, everybody else is robbing their neighbor, so yeah, I'm going to rob my neighbor too because everybody else is doing it. I take comfort in the fact that I'm literally doing what everybody else is doing, even though everybody else is doing something that's criminal. And this is a crime on so many levels. This isn't just a crime of animal abuse. They're literally sexually abusing these animals, psychologically abusing these animals, stabbing them all in their throats. If you understand what happened with those 4 college students being stabbed to death by Bryan Kohberger, that was evil. But you literally pay people to stab animals to death all day for every single non-vegan product you consume, even dairy products. They're stabbing little baby calves in their throats so you can have their baby food. But you understand Bryan Kohberger's a monster. You need to go vegan. You need to stop justifying violence against innocent creatures. There's no justification for this. This is the most evil industry that has ever existed, and it's destroying our planet because animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, world hunger, climate change. And you consuming these nasty, disgusting products, decaying animal flesh, secretions that come out of a cow's infected udder, the secretions that come out of a bird's shit-encrusted ass vagina, all you're doing is making yourself sick, increasing your risk of cancer, increasing your risk of diabetes, increasing your risk of heart disease, increasing your risk of having a stroke, increasing the risk of another pandemic like swine flu. This disgusting industry needs to be banned, and it needs to be banned right now. And the very first thing that any rational, decent human being can agree on right now, right at this very moment, the first thing that needs to happen to shut this evil industry down is they need to ban the artificial insemination process. The artificial insemination process. Because it's not artificial insemination. These animals do not give consent to having their genitals touched. And this woman's literally masturbating this pig until he ejaculates to collect his semen, to force it into an unconsenting pig's vagina, to force her to reproduce. If you were to force semen into a woman's vagina without her consent, I seriously doubt you would call that artificial insemination. That would be a crime of rape. And it should be a crime just as well when it's committed against non-human animals. And this isn't being done because, we're helping these animals reproduce because they want to have babies and they get to keep their babies and nurture their babies and love on their babies. This is being done for the sinister purpose of forcing these animals to reproduce so they can steal their babies and mutilate those babies, cutting the piglets' tails off, clipping their ears, clipping their teeth, castrating them, all of this without any anesthesia, without any pain relievers, and then forcing their babies to live in an overcrowded, shit-filled dungeon in such filth, they have to be given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick and dying from the filth they are forced to live in. This isn't being done for any good. And the planet's being destroyed in the process of producing animal products. Just look it up if you think I'm talking crazy. Just look every fucking thing up that I've been telling you. And you'll see I'm literally telling you the facts. Animals are being sexually assaulted to force them to reproduce. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. And the more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of getting heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease, causing another pandemic like swine flu, bird flu, COVID, caused by someone eating an animal. If people follow God's dietary plan on the very first page of the Bible, Genesis 1:29, we would have never had to have gone through this COVID epidemic or pandemic. Thou shalt not kill means be vegan. Thou shalt not steal means be vegan. Romans 14:21, it is good not to eat meat. Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf will lay with the lamb and there will be no more harm. But that's all you do all day for every single non-vegan product you consume is harm animals. We are not living in a time where there was a catastrophic flood that wiped out all the vegetation, and we're literally in a survival situation, and we have to eat animals for survival to literally sustain